Hello, welcome for the first time ever live from the Selaco Films Theater, which is to say that this is not live, and a theater is a very grand word for a small room in my house where I watch television. For the very first time in my life, I just watched the movie The Notebook. Why have I never seen 2004's The Notebook, starring Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams, two of the biggest stars of their generation? I don't know. Like in 2004, I think I was like working 6 days a week and like going to college at night. Like it was not a good time, not a good space for me. No time to go see The Notebook. Like none of the dude bros I was hanging out with were like, "Hey bro, you want to go see The Notebook?" That was not happening in my life. And just due to various time and financial constraints, my access to movies was fairly limited. So I just never got a chance to see The Notebook, but not really due to any particular prejudice. I just never saw The Notebook. It just never came up for the reasons I've just suggested. But more than that, I never really heard any Notebook prejudice, which I've found out is apparently a thing. Just generally, there are a lot of people out there who do not like The Notebook. All I'd really ever heard about this movie was that it was a genre piece, right? It's a romance, and that's all I ever heard. And when this movie was out and when it came to the aftermarket, that was just not something I had space for at the time. So that's why I have never seen it until now, 20 years later. It took me 20 years to get to The Notebook. I'm here. So I was checking out the movie on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, not looking great here. Average score from reviewers of 5.7. Me personally, as somebody that tries to create stuff, if I got a 5.7, I mean, hey, I'm happy with a 5.1, which means they liked it more than they didn't. For me, I'll take that, but whatever. Here's the critic consensus. It's hard not to admire its unabashed sentimentality, but The Notebook is too clumsily manipulative to rise above its melodramatic cliches. To which I reply, with all due respect, bro, that was the assignment. I mean, you gotta turn in what you're asked for. This is a thing that kind of bugs me when people talk about Star Wars The Force Awakens. They're like, oh, it's just like A New Hope. I was like, yeah, I know. Do you think anybody that worked on that movie was not keenly aware of what they were doing? They were. Sometimes that's just the assignment, and you have to complete the assignment, right? And, as an audience, we might say that this is not a valid assignment to execute, but they did, and it's here, and we just have to deal with it. And we can say that your premise was wrong from the get-go, but criticizing the premise onto the filmmakers, to me, is just what I don't know, it seems like a waste of time to me. We're already past that point. There's an assignment, the assignment has been accepted, executed, and now we can just look at that through whatever lens we choose. Romance movie is too melodramatic, and I'm just like, dude, I think that's what this is. It's romance melodrama. I think that's who you are, aren't you? Are you ever look what's happening on the cover. I need some water. Ugh. So that's where I'm coming from, right? I'm not going into this movie really with any preconceived notions, because strangely enough, 20 years go by, I still don't really know anything. Kind of if you somehow manage to avoid the original Star Wars trilogy your entire life, but or at least when I was growing up, everybody knows Luke, I am your father, even though that's not the line in the movie, and I don't want to get into a whole thing, but it's Star Wars, bleh. The Notebook is still part of popular culture, but somehow the plot has not found any way into my life. I just never heard any Notebook spoilers, and I don't know, make of that what you will. So again, meaning that I didn't know anything about The Notebook going into it, so I just kind of sat down and watched it. I need more water. I really only have anything negative to say about 5% of the movie, and that 5% I'm going to be pretty tough on. But the rest of the movie, I think, does exactly what it's supposed to do. You see these two leads? I think they have chemistry. I think they work. James Garner, Jenna Rollins, that's working for me. All these different story points and performances are working for me. And I actually think they're doing a really good job getting a lot of production value. And it's sort of the Way We Were-esque sort of similar kind of story, you know, where you have to go and fight the war and so on and so forth, and your life moves on. But there's very little of the actual war, and like how much war do you need in your romance melodrama? You just kind of need to know it happened, right? But it still feels like a thing that happened, and I just think it all works for the most part. Again, like I'm saying, I think like 95% of the movie worked for me. I thought it worked really well. Yeah, like cast, storytelling, pace, editing. There's a couple little bit of editing things I want to talk about. You know, I think like generally the dialogue works, like the back and forths work. There's nothing like cringy or anything like that. It's more like there's just like a thing or two where I would have taken this out, I would have taken that out, I would have approached this slightly differently. And that's kind of the things I want to harp on a little bit, mostly like the first 2 minutes and the last 2 minutes. So here we are, spoilers for a 20-year-old movie. Opening credits montages can be tricky, and you have to get through them, and there's all kinds of weird different union rules, and it's a whole thing. So like, what are you gonna do? So obviously, when you're watching the beginning of this movie, it is color timed out to infinity, I think. I mean, I can't imagine that's what they actually photographed on the day. It just doesn't read real. And speaking of not reading real, the birds, I don't know. They look like CGI to me. I don't know. Like these birds I'm showing to you right now, these birds don't look real to me. It really sticks out. Like the redness sticks out. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm an out-of-touch old man, but like looking at all this water and all this red makes me think of Apocalypse Now, which I don't think is what they're going for at all. It's like too red. It's like the uncanny valley red. Like it looks, maybe it's because it's Ryan Gosling. It looks like Blade Runner 2049. This doesn't read quite right to me. And I'm not entirely sure you even need the rowboat or the house or any of that stuff. What you really need is the geese. What do you call them? The birds. What you really need are the swans. And if you're telling me that there's not like beautiful 35mm stock footage that you can just purchase of swans, and you can just crossfade all these swans together here, like I'll just grab stuff and I'll do it right now. You see what I mean? Like it's just like footage of swans. Like that's what we need, right? We're trying to convey the thing. We're trying to convey this metaphor about being a bird, but not like literally a bird, like being free, like the idea you can just get up and fly away and do what you want anytime you want.
What do you want?
Right? Like that's like what's happening here in the film. That's what we're trying to convey. Probably not red. Like the color red is like a motif. Like I'm not really sure the color red like runs through the movie. If it does, I totally missed it. But in any case, like this shade of red, it's like too much red. I don't know. Like just for me, like it's not working. And this is a very, very tiny part of the movie. But it's the first thing you see. So, like, if it was me, I would do something different. Like the birds I showed you. Metaphor, flight, freedom, so on. I think that's all we really need here. I don't think we need to hammer this nail quite so hard. Then I just think there are a few lines here and there that I was like, like, do we need to spoon feed the audience quite this much? Or do we need to play this like fast and loose? Like I think pretty much as soon as the movie starts, like it gets going, you kind of see this back and forth between these two totally different time periods. I think it's pretty obvious what's going on. James Gardner is Ryan Gosling, right?
Thanks a lot.
Oh my god, it was like 15 years ago. Seriously? Anyway, so
like that's what's happening. This isn't like a Westworld reveal, right? Like we got it. And I don't think like this bit here where the nurse is telling Grandpa needs his peepers, Jenna Rollins, that they're not her kids.
The children are here.
Children?
Not yours, his.
Is supposed to be some kind of thing. It's supposed to throw us off the scent at this point, but like it just seems totally unnecessary. Like cut both those lines. Like we don't need them.
Come home. Mama doesn't know us. She doesn't recognize you.
There's a couple things I was remarking to my wife about how I could tell this was at least based on a story written by a man, because generally almost all the male characters are living some kind of 20th century heterosexual man's nightmare. Like Rachel McAdams' father has to break his little girl's heart. Nightmare. Ryan Gosling loses the woman he loves to circumstance and he's totally powerless to stop it. Nightmare. When he finally sees her again, she has a giant engagement ring on her finger. Nightmare. Rachel McAdams' fiance is like, oh, where's my wife been for 5 days? Oh, banging some other dude, nightmare. Oh, and as he so correctly points out, there's nothing he can do about it, right?
So the way I see it, I got three choices. One, I can shoot him. Two, I can kick the crap out of him. Or three, I leave you. But all that's no good. You see, because none of those options get me in.
Nightmare. And generally, I don't know if we need quite that much detail at the end. I don't know if we need to literally see that they're both dead in the bed. Hashtag dead in the bed. It's like, yeah, and then they're just dead in the bed. Credits. Like, that doesn't work quite well for me. I didn't love that. To me, all you really need is after that line about, do you think our love can take us somewhere, anywhere we want to go? Well, I forget exactly how it goes. But then you cut back to the geese. Then you cut back to the swans, right? And the freedom, the metaphor. Like, we don't need to literally see it. You just kind of cross-fade from their faces. You can do something like slightly artistic so we don't have to hit the audience over the head with it,
Our love can create miracles.
Yes, I do. That's what brings you back to me each time.
Do you think our love could take us away together?
You, Ellie.
So yeah, again, the last 35 seconds or so of the movie, it's just a little bit too heavy-handed. They get to the birds, we get back to the metaphor, but it's why bother cutting to the metaphor? You just showed us what literally happened. Do one or the other. Either show us the metaphor or show us what literally happens, but basically it's just dead people, birds, credits, and it's about that much space, right? It's just 1 second shot, credits. It's kind of a brutal ending. So for me, I think The Notebook works. I think this is 95% a good movie. I would love to put this movie on the computer and recut it, but I wouldn't change that much. I'm curious to look at the deleted scenes. But more than that, I think this movie just works. I just think the tiniest bit of tweaks could kind of take this movie up a notch. But generally, I think from what I'm seeing here online, people are being a little tough on The Notebook. I'm curious to hear if people's feelings about this movie have changed over time, if seeing this performance compared to other performances in these actors' careers over time has changed the way you perceive the film, or if just generally aging 20 years, or if you're younger and you weren't around when this came out and you're seeing this now for the first time and you don't really know who Ryan Gosling is, but you just saw Barbie, so now you're going through his filmography and you're whoa, what's this? The Notebook has apparently been adapted to a musical, and it's on Broadway. Here, I'm going to read you the snippets they have on their website from their reviews in various papers. The New York Times says that it's love that transcends time. Chicago Sun-Times says, a musical for the ages. Life-affirming and ingeniously adapted. USA Today, the free newspaper you get when you stay in hotels. Life-affirming is pretty serious, huh? Full of butterfly-inducing highs, stunning performances, and beautiful songs. And it's just credited to entertainment. What's that? Chris Jones of the Chicago Tribune says The Notebook is absolutely gorgeous, not to be missed. Music and lyrics by multi-platinum singer-songwriter Ingrid Michaelson. I totally know who that is. The Notebook, a cultural phenomenon. The Notebook, a cultural phenomenon that was able to reach this old, out-of-touch man. And why shouldn't it? I don't know what I'm saying. It's late here. I need to go to bed. I liked it. It's worth checking out. We watched it on DVD. Our player converted it to 4K. I think it looked great. But I wear these, so maybe get the Blu-ray. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know. Oh, God, I'm so old. All right, I'm going to bed. All right, I'll see you. That's how you end it. Yep.